Alicia Kozakiewicz disappeared from her home in Crafton Heights.
The abduction captured the nation's attention as few cases do.
She was abducted in an internet-related attack. What happened?
It's exactly every parent's nightmare.
Sit and watch it on TV and you never think it can happen to you. And my God, when it does happen to you.
If you haven't found them within 24 hours, they're more than likely dead.
She had agreed to meet a friend she'd been chatting with online for 6 months.
The child predator luring a child. This child's in danger.
We should have known this.
Her parents were out of their minds with worry.
She's been out there long enough.
Typically in these cases, you don't often find these children alive.
There was a caller on the line. This guy was viewing Alicia Kozakiewicz.
He live streamed this horrific treatment.
We've got something. We can do something with this.
Time was of the essence. No one had any idea that we're going to be able to find her in time.
They were calling me to say they had found my child, or is it to identify her body? It was just terrifying.
I can't believe this kind of stuff happens.
She believes it's a miracle she's even alive.
What happened?
How did you survive?
Until now, she has never told the full story of what happened to her.
On New Year's Day 2002, 13-year-old Alicia stepped out of her parents' home and into a living nightmare. She had agreed to meet a friend she'd been chatting with online for 6 months.
We were having a family dinner, and between dinner and dessert, as I was clearing the table, Alicia went up to her room. And we called her down for dessert, and she was gone.
This picture was taken about 2 weeks before my abduction. I'm wearing the same clothes that I was abducted in. I walked out my front door between dinner and dessert to meet this person, just to say hi, who I thought was my friend. I walked up the street just a little, and next thing I know, that little voice inside of me spoke up. Alicia, what are you doing? My intuition started screaming at me, Alicia, go home. By that time, I heard my name being called. Next thing I knew, I was in the car, and he was squeezing my hand so tightly that I thought it was broken. And he was telling me warnings, you know, the trunk's cleaned out for you. And he started to drive. And he continued to drive and drive and drive. And eventually he hit a toll booth. And he threatened me, but he couldn't stop my tears. I had this immense, great feeling of hope that he was going to get to this toll booth. The person inside would see me crying. They would be alerted and it would all be over. The car pulled up to the toll booth. The money was exchanged. And the gate went up and he continued on, and I lost hope in that moment. And at that point I realized, okay, well, you're much bigger than me and the time to fight and kick and scream is over. I need to do whatever I need to do to survive. He took me down into the basement, down these winding, long stairs, and inside was what can best be described as a dungeon, a really terrifying place, and it looked like there were things all over the wall that were meant to cause pain. And he propped me up on a table and he told me that this is going to be hard for you, it's okay, cry. He held me captive by a chain to my neck and a locked collar. And I mean, let your worst nightmares come to your mind, and that's what happened. You know. Up until the 4th day, I had done whatever I had to do to survive. No matter how painful or humiliating or disgusting, I did it because I knew that my only chance of survival was to stay alive long enough for somebody to come find me. On that 4th day, he looked at me and he said, I'm beginning to like you too much. Tonight we're going to go for a ride. And I knew that that was when he was going to kill me. I thought about my family. I knew that my parents were looking for me and that they loved me and that they would find me. But would they find me in time? When was the last time I told my mom, dad, or brother that I loved them? Did they know that I loved them? And I decided in that moment that I was going to do anything to get away, that I was going to risk my life. I heard the door fall in, and these people, it sounded like they were tearing apart this house. I thought they were coming to kill me. I thought that he'd sent people to kill me. I was terrified. I watched those boots, one set of them, walk from one side of the bed to the side that I was hiding under. And I remember crawling out from underneath this bed. I was going to fight him. Dragging that heavy chain behind me and staring into the barrel of a gun. And thinking that this is it. This is the moment I'm going to die. And then he turned around.
And then I saw the most beautiful letters in the alphabet. FBI, in bold yellow on the backs of their jackets. And I knew that I was safe.
And I can remember my dad, he ran up and he gave me a hug.
Nothing could hurt me ever again because my dad wouldn't let anything hurt me again. And that was when the nightmare was over. Being in my family's arms.
An amazing moment for us to be reunited, something that is truly a miracle that we never thought would happen.
So what do you want to say to kids 13 years old right now?
It's so scary because they're making the same exact mistakes I did.
We teach our children to wear a seatbelt. We teach them to look both ways before they cross the street. And the reason we do that is because it's going to hurt them. It's not to terrify them and make them afraid of the world, it's to empower them.
You must talk to your children. And you have to let your child know that they can come to you with absolutely anything at all.
Yes, my story is horrendous. And people constantly say to me, oh, well, I went through something and it's not as bad as what you went through. And yes, it is. It's your experience. You can't put a value on trauma. It takes time and it takes your time. It's okay for it to take time. For you to cry and scream and break down. It is difficult. There are ups and downs, but you can get through it.